Now, former FBI Deputy Assistant Director Terry Turchie. Great to have you with us, Terry.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Well, you heard Logan reference Robert Hur officially taking over the investigation as special counsel today. Why do you think it took so long for the DOJ and the FBI to conduct what's being called this planned search after the other documents were found in his Wilmington home? Does it have anything to do with Hur's, kind of official status as of today?
I think it may very well, but I also think they're finally realizing that the public is not buying the manner in which they've been conducting this inquiry, or whatever they're calling it today. The thing that really hits you about the piece you just did, and the question that I would have is, why wasn't the FBI searching these houses simultaneously and immediately after the Penn State discoveries? And that's always going to come back to haunt this case, because the quote bad guys, I'm just going to call it like it would be in any other case, have had plenty of time to hide anything, to take things away. We'll never know. We'll just never know what the truth might be. So quite honestly, I think a lot of this is an attempt to make up for kind of a falling trust in the DOJ and the FBI about this matter, on the heels, of course, of the American public trusting the FBI and DOJ even less on so many other things. This is a crying shame, because from an FBI agent's perspective, when you watch pieces like you just did, you realize that that is not normal. That is not the way the FBI does its business. So the FBI has been brought into this and then taken out of this and brought back into it on the whim of the Justice Department. And that is not how a major investigation should work. Why do I consider this a major investigation? Because I don't think you could talk about the document searches and trying to find out what's in these documents without thinking about the backdrop of it. And that's the bigger question of Hunter Biden, his access to these houses, and of course, everything that has swirled around him for the last year, or the last few years. The bottom line also is, in the Trump case, remember that scene where they made sure they took all those cover sheets, and those are always usually a bright color when they're classified documents, and they're attached to the front of the classification papers, and they spread them out on the floor, they took a big picture, and then suddenly that made its way into the news. I'd have two questions. First of all, why was that? Why did that even happen? It's not going to happen in this case. But secondly, these documents that they're finding, one, what is in them? What are the titles? Tell us something.
Yeah, we don't have the picture. We don't have, apparently CNN did not get tipped off about the search at the Biden home, even though it was planned. We don't have any aerial footage. We don't have an AP live feed of the Biden home like we did at Mar-a-Lago. So there are serious questions about the disparities between the way these two cases are being handled. And I would imagine, playing devil's advocate, Biden's lawyers would say, oh, it's because, as you heard from Bob Bauer there, we're fully cooperating with the National Archives and the DOJ. That doesn't matter, right? It shouldn't matter, because as you pointed out, there's been a lot of time that's elapsed now, and who knows what has happened inside that home.
Not only does it not matter, it's actually scary. All of these scandals in the last few years, at the base of them have been lawyers. So I don't know that I feel better about what they're saying there.
Yeah.
Well, Terry, you mentioned obviously we'll never know, and there are some things that obviously we cannot go back in time, but they call this a planned search. President Trump was not afforded that. He did not have lawyers present, as we know. The White House continues, and at 2 o'clock today we're expecting to hear from Karine Jean-Pierre, and she won't answer, she'll dodge, she'll gaslight. But CBS News was the first to report yesterday that, oh yeah, by the way, there was a search back in November. I just want to play a clip for our viewers and for you to react to, where Biden spokesperson Kate Bedingfield was pressed about the lack of transparency, and this is what she said on CNN.
We have released multiple statements from the White House, and President Biden's personal attorney has released multiple statements over the last month, walking through the process and agreeing to be fully cooperative with the Justice Department.
And so now we have her who's on the case here, but the GOP House wants more information. And because the special counsel, how convenient. Again, they won't get anything from that. And because the lawyers have been involved, many say it's attorney-client privilege now. So this White House and the lawyers, Terry, effectively have put up a shield here.
That is exactly right. That's what they've done. They've put up the lawyer shield, and we're just simply not going to find out anything. And this is at a very critical time when we really need to know as Americans, as citizens of this country, what is the connection between these documents, the easy access to them, the locations they have been found, and all of the things that have swirled around Hunter Biden and his relationship with the Chinese, the Ukrainians, and of course his father's role in all of this. And we already have significant information that kind of ties or stitches all of this together to the extent that we have plenty for full investigations. And the FBI should have been working full investigations on this from November. And we should have a lot more information as we're kind of informed, again, as Americans, what is going on here. Because let's face it, this is historical. When have we had a president in the White House that might be in the very middle of major espionage matters? And,
when have we had
that's not a joke.
Yeah. Questions about, when have we had a president and his son being investigated by the FBI at the same time? I think it's happened before, but again, we are in kind of uncharted waters here. And Terry, real quickly, speaking of the FBI, I wanted to ask you about this FBI official, Charles McGonigal, who was arrested over the weekend because of his ties to the Russian oligarch Oleg Deripaska. He was apparently trying to help him work around some Russian sanctions. A key figure in the Trump-Russia probe arrested for colluding with the Russians. Former INS agent Michael Cutler brings up a good point in an article he posted on Front Page Magazine. We need to know what other cases Charles McGonigal might have been involved in, right?
You're right. That article was exactly right. And this is a major national security matter. They're talking about this as if it were a sanctions case, and that's bad enough, especially when he was a special agent in charge when he first was taking money from the Russian oligarch. So I think that this is another one of those cases that, I mean, we could talk about this forever, but this shows a huge issue in government and certainly inside the U.S. And
you feel, Terry, for the field agents that are trying really hard to do the right thing in the FBI. The FBI has got a serious image problem right now. I know there are a lot of hardworking men and women who are, not part of this type of mentality at the FBI, but it definitely stinks up there in D.C. in the corporate offices, or whatever you want to call it, the headquarters there. Terry, great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Take care.